Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Welcome along to episode 650 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, Wolverhampton's poet laureate Kholi joining us for a chat not only about her work as a poet and freelance writer, but also her appearance at the Wolverhampton Literary Festival in 2022. We'll be catching up with both Duane AJ with his Christmas song Dancing in the Snow, and Micheal Armstrong will be along as we hear about his latest version of a very festive offering. Plus, on top of that, we'll be having a bit of a natter with the team from LGBT Sparkle as they've got a face-to-face meetup this week where they'll be using hypnotherapy to help those who need some self-care. That's all on the way on the show this week. Somebody who's going to be at the heart of the 6th Wolverhampton Literature Festival in February 2022 is the brand new poet laureate for our city. It's Kholi who joins me now for a chat. Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Good to have you along and have a bit of a natter here and find out about your work because you're a freelance writer and poet. So what brought you to the world of poetry to begin with?
Well, when I was a child, I because of my disability, I couldn't speak very well, and I wanted to get everything out of my system, and I found a typewriter once at school, and everything came out through my fingers.
Suddenly, you got a way of expressing yourself without some of the limitations that life has given you, but it's never stopped you having a voice. That's the thing. You've got, actually expanded on this, and you are now a prolific writer.
Yeah, I love writing because it gets everything out of my system, and it's made my life richer and more rewarding. So I can tell people what I think rather than people thinking I'm just a disabled, dumb person, but I'm not.
Absolutely not. And this is the bit that worries me, is we often miss out on someone's creativity and how expressive they can be by not looking past our first impressions. And I think you're living proof of the fact that really, there is skill here, there's talent here. Don't let the fact that it may take you a little longer to get started be the thing that stops you.
Yes, of course, that's right. Nothing will get in my way now.
I should think not. But, I mean, an honour to be poet laureate and well deserved from what I have heard. So, are you going to share some of your poetry with us to start off with, and we can get an idea of what you write?
Well, first poem I'm going to share is from my first book called Patchwork. And this poem is dedicated to all fellow ragdolls with cerebral palsy. Okay. And it's called The Ragdoll. And this is how it goes. Silk, linen, velvet, cotton, wool, made from all sorts, textures, fabrics, buttons, ribbons, hips made from zips, whoops-a-daisy and falling to bits. Her heart is made of golden fluff. Her smile is stitched shining bright. Now and again she's not there quite. Her spirit shines like ultraviolet light. Droops, dangles, her limbs and neck, durable to all types of wear and tear. Broken, damaged, here and there, people stare, she just does not care. Battling, juggling impossibilities, shining diamond sequined eyes, always ready to give you a surprise, like a cartoon she'll always survive. Has trouble with her physical being, words tangle in the laces of her head. Still figuring out what you've just said, jerking, jolting to the day she's dead. Thank you.
Excellent. And giving a flavour of a world and an interpretation on it. And it's using something like poetry that can actually get across to people better the feelings you may have and what it's like being you. Because, I mean, poetry is so expressive and it lets your soul out to the world, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. That's the main focus of poetry. You can deliver it in different ways and people interpret it in different ways as well.
And with your work, obviously you're published poet, and we've seen the Patchwork as one of the books that you've brought out. But it must be great working with a publisher as well and getting those words on the page and being able to share them. And it's a way of making accessible something which would have seemed difficult to you growing up if you didn't have the opportunities that need to be given to make sure everyone gets to shine in the right way.
Yes, I was very lucky. I used to work in the council, and I met one of my friends called, his name's Jeff Phelps, and he's a writer and poet, and he told me to go to the library and meet Simon Fletcher. At that time, he was a literature officer, development officer, and from that, when I showed him my work, he was really amazed. He says, "Wow, this is amazing stuff. You need to, learn a bit more." So he mentored me for the last 10 years, and from that mentoring, I learned more and I expressed more, and I got more ideas of how to write poetry, different kinds of poetry.
And when you explore the world through poetry, I mean, what sort of avenues and alleyways do you head down? What do you like to write about?
Well, I like about anything really. I like writing about nature, my disability, and how people react to disabilities. And I write about Punjabi ladies and how it's like to be living in a Punjabi household in Britain.
So with you exploring all of those worlds, it is a chance to share and the opportunity to be part of the Literature Festival as we head into 2022. Again, that must be something you're really looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to it. When I found out that I'd been chosen as Poet Laureate, I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh my gosh, yeah. And I was so amazed. I was in tears. I couldn't. There was nobody around in the house. I couldn't say anything to anyone.
You had to give me bold. Did you write a poem about it?
I will do. Yes.
But have the whole year experience and see where you go from there first.
Yes, and one of my main highlights that I'm trying to get through is I'm hoping to go around primary and secondary schools to deliver poetry sessions and make the children aware of disability and not to be afraid of disabled people. We are just like them, so just to be as inclusive as possible.
Yeah, and I think inclusivity is the important thing, and we probably need to get away. I mean, I don't like the badge disabled. It's just, I mean, he's just differently abled. You've got a set of skills which are not disabled at all. Your poetry is, if anything, makes you more enabled than a lot of people who can't do it.
Of course, that's right. Of course.
So your skills will be shown, which is absolutely brilliant. Now, you obviously said that you've got our first poem form, which means hopefully you've got a second to share with me now.
Yes, I have. And this poem is the first poem from my new collection, A Wonder Woman. And this is a villanelle, and it's, in a nutshell, in the story of my life. It's called Survivor.
Take it away.
Entered the world like an uninvited guest. I hid away, embarrassed. I was a disgrace. Flawed, I survived this sentence, a tough test. A child who was compared with all the rest. I was different, an alien from outer space. Entered the world like an uninvited guest. Benefits, wages, kept me together, dressed. I was a cash point, abused without a case. Lord, I survived the sentence, a tough test. On display to men for marriage suppressed. I was a British visa from Asian men to chase. Entered the world like an uninvited guest. A lucky escape, rescued by a husband, blessed with a family that I could love and embrace. Lord, I survived this sentence, a tough test. My dreams came true and all were impressed. A valued writer, poet, working mum, a place. Lord, I survived this sentence, entered the world like an uninvited guest. Lord, I survived this sentence, a tough test.
Excellent. Again, another very expressive piece. And I think it's important that it is you that is reading a lot of your poetry. But that's not the case for all of it. When it's the personal stuff, we need to hear it in your voice. But also, it must be great when you get to see your work in areas where other people will be actually reading it and may even read it out loud.
Yes, of course. Yep. And, that's people do interpret it differently. So it might, affect them a little bit. And some might be saying, oh my God, that's brilliant, So it's all different people, different thoughts.
Well, I think we're lucky to have you as our poet laureate in particular, because it actually gives you a chance to share your poetry to a wider audience and make sure that, as I say, your voice is heard, pointing out that we need to be there for those who are differently abled, but equally showing off the skills that absolutely everybody has something of inside them. It just needs to be let out. And I don't wish to be patronising when I say that, but you're there because of the talent, aren't you? This is it. Your poetry is absolutely standing out, which means we need to know where we can find out more about it. So is the work available online? It's
officepress.co.uk. That's where you can get it. And also, I think Waterstones in Wolverhampton are going to stock this one, but they've already got a stock of patchwork, but they're going to stock a Wonder Woman.
So look out for the name Kholi. You will need to read this young lady's work. Absolutely fantastic. And poet laureate for the city of Wolverhampton in the current sitting. Well, Kholi, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing. And we look forward to having you as part of the Literature Festival in the city as we head into 2022.
Lovely. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Earlier this year, Micheal Armstrong spent 4 weeks at #1 on the indie charts in the US. He's also got a Christmas single on the way and joins me now to let me know exactly what's going on. Hello, sir.
Hello, Jason. How you doing, mate?
I'm good. I hope you're feeling fine and still rather pleased with your success in 2021.
Yeah, still reeling a bit, to be honest. I think it's one of those things that I might, when I finally kind of pack up in a couple of weeks' time, ready for the Christmas break, I might take stock of everything and, pour myself another glass of champagne.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we were talking about the album, Oh Hi, earlier on this year. And off the back of that came single releases. Obviously, a brilliant album. I've loved listening to it. And this has been the case for many across the globe. And the US really took it to heart.
Yeah, it was the opening track on the album, Each Other's Eyes. It got picked up by a DJ in New York. And he started playing it, and he told me he was playing it and sent me a lovely email and said he passed it on to some of his friends. And I thought, well, that's cool. And then a couple of weeks later, I got a phone call from a promoter in New York who said he'd heard the track being played, tracked the DJ down, found out who I was. And he just asked if I'd had it registered, etc., in America and done all the right things. And I was like, no, I've got no idea what you're talking about. I didn't know what I was meant to do. Mm-hmm. And so he very kindly agreed to help me do that and explain how to do it. So I filled in all the necessary forms, etc. And about a week later, I got an email from him. Well, he sent me the official kind of charts, and the song had gone to like number 35, I think it was, in the indie music singles chart. And I was like made up. I thought, that's fantastic. In America, that's really cool. And every Wednesday morning, I'd wake up to the next set of published charts. And It rose from 35 to number 22. Then it ended up in the top 10, then the top 5, then number 2. And I was thinking, sure, this can't really happen. But yeah, I woke up the following Wednesday and there it was at number 1 in the indie music singles chart and number 15 in the top 40. And there it stayed for the next 4 weeks. It was just madness. I mean, no real, certainly, I didn't do any promotion. I didn't speak to anyone over there or do anything. It just happened organically. And yeah, wonderful feeling for someone like me who's been plying his trade and getting his songs out there for many, many years. It was kind of 2 aspects to it. One of it was the pride that my family, my mum and dad, who have been through it all since I was a little kid, and my wife and my children and friends and family and Lisa, who I work with, they were so proud and happy for me. That was a lovely feeling. And the other side to it was to know that it could be done. In this day and age, I'm pretty cynical, and I didn't think that kind of thing could happen. But really, just right time, right place. The timing was right, and just organically from people playing it and enjoying it, it ended up, getting to number 1 just on its own merit. So it's great to know that can still be done.
Absolutely. I've been loving your music for a number of years now, and with play on WCR in Wolverhampton, and actually you've been in over the last 5, I think it's 5 years ago, you actually came up to do an interview with us, and that was great to have you along then, and that was pretty much Christmas as well. But it is great to see that, and you've had national recognition, you've had national UK radio play over the years anyway. So I think you're probably the most surprised of all of us, because we all expected this sort of thing to happen as we've gone along anyway. We've been waiting for this and couldn't work out why it hadn't seen the industry recognition that we know from an artist point of view you deserve.
Well, it's very kind of you to say. Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult business to be involved in, and I'm not a young man anymore, and it's. So I was always up against it, but yeah, no, it's been a fantastic year, no doubt about it.
So what does that mean then? Are we expecting a big US tour at some point? Is that a possibility now?
I'd certainly like to go over there, that's for sure, and I would hope that will happen next year. Now, we're planning to release another single in America, a single from the album. In fact, the first single that came out here in the UK was a song called Matters of Heart. Mm-hmm. So we're going to release that one in America, but in a much truncated kind of version, because their radio over there is even stricter than ours. They can't have any long intros, and it has to be 3.5 minutes long, kind of thing. So we've got to chop that one up a bit, and that's going to go out in January in America. And then here in the UK, we're releasing the title track from the album Oh Hi, so to try and keep that rolling. But yeah, certainly like to get over to America when I can. I know that COVID is rearing its ugly head once again, so let's hope that doesn't stick around.
Fingers crossed. So moving on to the Christmas song then, and a release that makes everybody feel a little bit festive, and a way of you celebrating the sort of early Christmas present you had going to the number 1 in the charts in the US.
Well, the Christmas, funnily enough, you mentioned that I came up to Wolverhampton to see you, do an interview, and we did it at the Wolves Stadium, if you remember, and it was Christmas. It probably was about this time 5 years ago. And I was promoting this same song, and basically that we'd written a song had been written in 1967 by the owner of the Cavern Club in Liverpool. Yep. And he'd written it for his daughter Debbie, and gave it to her and recorded it and gave it to her as a Christmas present. And I met Debbie about 10 years ago, and she played me this song that Dad had written for her, which like no one else outside the family had heard. And she said, if you can ever do anything with it, then it's all yours. And so 5 years ago, I was recording my second album, and it wasn't quite ready. And so we thought we'd get a sneaky single out. And Warren Bennett, who I was working with, he's a huge Beatles fan and a 60s fan, and I played him this track, and he thought the same as I, that it had a real charm to it. And so we rewrote the kind of chorus and changed it around a bit and made it a bit more interesting and updated it. And we recorded it and we released it. And what happened was, when I played it to Debbie, she was really moved by the song, and she, still being like a very kind of famous person in Liverpool, right, like a historic figure because of her associations with the Cavern Club, she took it to the guys at the Cavern who she knew, and it was their 60th birthday, and so they agreed to release it as their 60th birthday anniversary single, and they sold it in the Cavern Club and things. And so here I am 5 years later. It's the Cavern Club's 65th birthday. I've had a bit of success, as we've already discussed, so I thought it made sense to do something with the Christmas song again. And so we've had it remixed and remastered by the people who did my album. I did a fantastic job. So it's a lot more punchy, and we changed it around a bit. And yeah, so we just thought we'd get it out there as just a little extra gift and a thank you to everyone who's been so kind this year. And yeah, I hope a few people give it some spins. It's a cool little song.
Absolutely, and so we enjoyed it back then. So this is the new improved version for 2021, and so it is nice here. The thought of this has already got history to it. The same way so many of the Christmas songs we hear these days do, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas is great. You know, we hear those classic songs, and I'd never not want to hear them. But it is nice to hear a new one every now and then. And what I love particularly about this song is that it is new, but it's not. You know, it was started over 50 years ago, so it has that classic. The way they wrote songs then, people don't write songs like that anymore, like they were doing in the 60s and early 70s. Things have become a lot more advanced. So it's a simple, honest song, and yeah, we've updated it, but it still has the heart of kind of 1960s in it. It's
an organic thing again, isn't it? It's grown.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just grown and developed, and you know, it's these things. I've been lucky like that in my career. Things have just kind of come my way, and you have to make the most of them. You need to grab your opportunities with both hands, and make your own luck, I guess. But yeah, this was just something, especially with my love of the Beatles and my love of Liverpool. It was a magical thing. And I actually, on the 60th birthday 5 years ago, I actually got to perform it at the Cavern Club with Debbie there and her husband and all their friends and some kind of local dignitaries and that. And so that was a wonderful, wonderful event.
Long may these wonderful events continue, and we look forward to more success both in the US and hopefully the similar sort of level of success this side of the pond as well. As the music I know is well received over here. We've just got to get that recognition, so it needs to be heard by all. Michael, give us all the details of where we find you online.
MichealArmstrongmusic.co.uk is the website. And some sort of variation of that is all the other things, Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. It's all around Micheal Armstrong Music, so you can find me there.
Well, let's take a little bit of a listen to Debbie's song now. I'll let you introduce it.
This is Little Girl, Bells of Christmas.
Thanks as ever for joining us, and we look forward to a great 2022.
Thank you, mate.
Little girl, your head is nodding. One last lullaby. In the morning, Santa's calling. Time to close your eyes. Little girl, I know you're asking, will I always be there? When the day is dawning and snow is falling, when you say a prayer, ring the bells for Christmas. It's that time of the year, with the bells of Christmas. I'll always be here. Little girl, we'll light a candle, hold it close to your heart. With my kisses, these reminiscences mean we'll never part.
Duane AJ is back with some brand new music, and it's all festive as well. Dancing is the Snow is his Christmas single, and he joins me now to tell me more. Hello, sir.
Hi, I'm good. Are you?
Yeah, all good here. So what is happening then? Christmas is obviously a special time of year for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love Christmas. Obviously, it's unfortunately not snowing right now. So, yeah.
Otherwise, we could interview you whilst you were dancing in the snow. That would have worked, wouldn't it?
Exactly. So, I wrote this song last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to release it, last year, but I didn't have the time or to sort myself out. So I held on to the lyrics, and I thought to myself, I'll get that sorted next year. And so this is what I've ended up with, and this is Dancing in the Snow. I just thought, like, we're all singing Christmas songs now, and I thought it was time this time around to get my own sort of original song, a Christmas version out there.
What inspires you for Christmas then? What makes it magical for you?
I think, like, as a child, we had such a magical Christmas all the time, and I think even music plays a part in that. I remember as children, we would wake up in the morning, we weren't allowed down till 6. 6 was the earliest, and we would come down, have all our presents, and we would be allowed to open them, and we'd have the Christmas album or whatever it was in the background, to basically just to keep this Christmas spirit going. And I think, like, growing up with, like, my family, there was always music on, we always had Christmas music on at Christmas. Boxing Day was another day. We'd be at my grand's, and my dad would bring a karaoke, and me being, like, a kid in their eyes, we didn't really go on the karaoke at the time, so it was just my dad.
But basically, they missed out on your singing, and this is what you bring to us with your song. And you'll be looking for some snow to go out dancing in to produce a video, won't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's if it's one of those sort of things that if we do get snow, maybe I need to just call up my videographer and just say, "Are you free today? Let's get some footage of me dancing in the snow."
Yeah, either that will be blue screen later on. Who knows? We shall see what happens. But that's in the run up to Christmas. Meanwhile, we've got the song to listen to now. Where can we find this one?
Okay, so you can go on to iTunes, Spotify, or any of your music platforms that you guys use, and you can just go on there and download it.
And what have you got with the rest of your world of music? Because obviously there's the album.
Yeah. So the album is out in I should say 5 days today, and that is out. So next Friday, or this Friday coming. Cannot wait. I've spent so much time and work that has gone into this. I mean, I started when was it, in COVID, and just released like a couple of singles, and I just thought that would be it, sort of thing. I didn't think I'd be too worried about carrying on doing a full album. And then, a year later, I decided I wrote all these songs, and I was just like, I quite like them. So I think, it's time to get them produced properly and see what happened, So I'm really, really excited about that. There's 12 tracks on the album. Lots of different producers helped me create this album. I was working with Simon Ellis from London. He had also produced songs for, like, Britney Spears, that's Club 7, Spice Girls, and he worked with all of them on their tours. So, he's one of the producers. A couple from Italy, another guy from Bristol. So they've all helped me, to create the music that I've always dreamed about releasing. So this is my first ever debut album with all my original songs on it.
Mm-hmm. And you will be touring around about, so I'm sure we'll see you in the area performing live in 2022. Keep us posted on all the dates on that one. But where do we go to for everything that is Duane AJ?
Okay, so I mean, I mainly post on Facebook on my music page, which is under Duane AJ Music. You can find out everything on there. Also Instagram, Duane AJ Music. and of course YouTube. So if you want to know what, keep up to date with all of my stuff, just go onto those channels.
Well, thank you. As ever, it's good to talk to you. And we're going to take that festive tune now. This is Duane AJ with Dancing in the Snow. Thank you for joining us, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Cheers.
I'm feeling free. It's Christmas Eve. And Santa's got some presents for me. He's gonna slide down the chimney. Freshly baked goods for him to eat. I'll hold you tight all through the night. I'm full of glee. I'll make so angels fly. I'm the one dancing in the snow. I'm the guy that won't let go. And if I can, I'll let you know. I'll hold you tight all through the night. I'm the one dancing in the snow. I'm going Jack Frost when it's cold. We're gonna ski down all the snow. You're gonna be my baby tonight. All through the night. Baby tonight. All through the night. Granny's giving me some Christmas sweets. With the toffee stuck between our teeth. Mommy's cleaning out the kitchen sink. Daddy's chilling on the sofa with me. I'll hold you tight all through the night. I'm full of glee. I'll make so angels fly. I'm the one dancing in the snow. I'm the guy that won't let go. And if I can, I'll let you know. I'll hold you tight all through the night. I'm the one dancing in the snow. I'm going Jack Frost when it's cold. We're gonna ski down all the snow. You're gonna be my baby tonight. Another year has passed us by. I'll never forget all the fun that we had on this Christmas day. It makes me feel glad. Oh, jingle bells, oh, Christmas bells, oh, silent night, oh, holy night. All is calm and all so bright. It's time to get close on this winter night. I'll hold you tight all through the night. I'm full of glee. We'll make it snow angels for life. I'm the one dancing in the snow. I'm the guy that won't let go. And if I can, I'll let you know. I'll hold you tight all through the night.
This week, on the 9th of December, LGBT Sparkle will be back at the Arena Theatre for a face-to-face meeting. Paul Ryder joins me now to tell us more, and their speaker as well, Chris Harrison from Mindset Self-Care Focused Therapy. Hello to you both.
Hello, Jason. How are you?
All good here. First of all, Paul, update us on what's going on with LGBT Sparkle.
We have lovely Chris. He's going to be talking about the work that he does, Mindset. We'll be meeting at the Arena Theatre on the 9th of December, face-to-face.
And obviously, when you all get a chance to get together, there's normally cake involved, which I think improves any meeting, doesn't it?
Oh, not this time.
No cake. You should have Christmas cake.
No, it'd be mince pies and biscuits.
Okay. Right, that all sounds good. Chris, You're not just going for the mince pies and biscuits, are you? You're actually going to help people get a few ideas on self-care therapy.
I don't know. Now I might just go for the mince pie and biscuits and stuff like that. I'm doing a talk there about mental health and hypnotherapy. I'm a hypnotist, and that's what I do. I use hypnotherapy to help people. My main field is depression, anxiety, trauma, and PTSD.
So obviously, big areas and that do need some help. I mean, there's that list there. It is difficult to get through on your own. Some people can, others will be better placed if they get some assistance. And that assistance, there's no shame in asking for it. You'd be more embarrassing not to seek help if you're going through any of those conditions.
Definitely. This time last year, I was at rock bottom myself, and I had my suicide planned and everything. I weren't going to be in January. And then a family member put me in contact with the hypnotherapist, and my life changed.
And through that work, you've sort of discovered a whole new way of managing your outlook on life.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Changed my life around completely.
So what happens in hypnotherapy? Because obviously hypnotism always gets the slightly comedy sort of descriptions around it on stage, hypnotists, and it's a million miles away from the sort of thing you might see portrayed on film and TV.
The hypnosis you see on stage and what I use in the therapy room is technically the same. All hypnosis is a pure state of focus, nothing more, nothing less. It's a natural state. We all go into it, say, when we're watching a film or when we're driving along and our mind goes off into a little dream world, yet there's still something there that's keeping us in between the lines of the road. That's hypnosis. When we're watching a film, we can hear the words of the film, but we're still drifting off into our own world. That's hypnosis. So by getting that state, mental state, we can access the subconscious mind. And that's where the issues are stored. I give suggestions exactly the same as a stage hypnotist would do for somebody to cluck like a chicken, which seems to be the obvious one, to let go of any negativity and that sort of thing. And because the brain can't tell the difference between thought and reality, because it thinks it's getting rid of these things, it physically thinks it's done it. So you actually get rid of it.
And very often you might find that what is sort of playing on your mind, you may well have already dealt with in real life, but there is still that nagging question. And this is the sort of thing which gives you a clear out. It's like doing the spring clean, but with mentally, rather than just getting the stuff from under the cupboard under the stairs.
Emotional detox, we call it. So we get rid of any negative thoughts, feelings, images, emotions, sensations. And I'll put them in the mind, I put them in different scenarios where they can get rid of these things.
And there's always got to be a memory of what triggered that, but it's the thoughts that go, not the memory itself of the event.
Yeah,
so it helps you deal with that situation.
That's true. You'll always remember the thing, but when there's no memory, when there's no emotion attached to the memory, you won't feel it. Because what happens is when we think about a memory that's causing us pain, that's still got the emotion attached to it, we relive it. So the parts of the brain that deal with the chemicals and all that, they send out the chemicals to make us feel rubbish or make us feel bad or angry or whatever. Once that emotion has been taken away from that memory, which is what I enjoy with trauma and PTSD, because I had PTSD. Once that's gone, you can think of the memory and have full control over it, and it doesn't bother you.
But you say those memories and those events are part of what has shaped you now.
Oh, yeah.
And, your strength to have got through it in the first place is part of building you into the person that you are. But you say it can then have a negative downside with the emotion that sometimes runs alongside those things, which have proven you to be the strong human being that you are.
And everyone else is the same.
So, Paul, obviously, it's going to be great to be able to share this with the group. And is this your last meeting face-to-face before Christmas?
Yes. Just to let you know, it will be me that's being hypnotised. I've put myself forward, so it's going to be fun. You've got to come along if you can, Jason, or whoever's available can as well. At the moment, this will be our last one, because at the Arena Theatre, they're fully booked all next year. So now we're looking for another venue, which we ain't got to pay because we don't receive no funding. So we are in the process of looking at different venue. But I'll let you know once we do find another venue.
But I think you've had a good time down there at the arena over the last few months, and this has given you the opportunity to get back together, as well as what you do on Zoom, which is ongoing.
Yeah, definitely. We're doing really well.
So where can people find each of these meetings? Give us all the details and how they let you know they're coming along.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at the Arena Theatre. I've got the address, bear with me. It is Arena Theatre, Wolverhampton Street, Wolverhampton, WV1 1SE.
And so the meeting there is 2 till 3:30. The 9th of December, that is a Thursday afternoon. As we've already heard, biscuits and mince pies are promised, and it's going to be a good session. Paul will be being hypnotised as part of the therapy that is being given here and demonstrated, and a way in which that those who haven't been able to find another way through issues may well be able to get past the emotion of something that has either happened, it's either been traumatic or otherwise in their life. So, Chris, give us your details where people can find out more about mindset self-care focused therapy.
I'm on Facebook. I do most of my work online at the moment. Just makes that easier for people as well, especially if they're not in the area. You can call me on 07919 865 174 or email me chris@mindsetsft.com. Also my website's mindsetsft.com.
So you can get those details there. But most importantly, get along to the arena this Thursday at 2 o'clock and join LGBT Sparkle for a time of togetherness, mince pies, and some self-care focused therapy too. Well, Chris and Paul, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Much appreciated.
Special offer this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 651 next week. I'll see you then. For now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.